Good morning. Dr. Yates here. We are about to start about a 30-minute broadcast regarding your radio station analysis and answer any other questions. So again, this will, if anyone does join me, then terrific. If not, I will just move through the material. First, let me see if I can find the right screen to share with you. Of course, I clicked on the wrong piece. I'm going to share our radio station guidelines and attempt to share those with everyone, present to everyone. So what we see is that we have our guidelines for the first written assignment in this course. And what we're looking for is for you to investigate a radio station and learn a little bit about it so that you have a better understanding of some of the elements that make up a radio station, what their call letters are, the frequency, and of course what the difference between commercial and non-commercial is. Briefly, commercial stations are typically those that have advertisements. Advertisements, of course, are a staple of broadcast radio, and they oftentimes are abundant because that's what pays the bills. The advertiser revenue is what pays the station employees and helps the station continue to run. So as you likely have read through in your first chapter about the history of broadcasting and radio, that advertisement really came out and started as toll broadcasting, and it was just a way to make money from those who wanted to get the word out about their product or service. Non-commercial stations are going to be your national public radio stations, your public radio, Georgia Public Radio. You may hear Public Radio International, which is PRI. These type of stations are funded on monies from the listeners like us, those that tune in, as well as those who, corporations who may want to provide some support. And of course, by providing support, they often get a tax write-off. So that's another plus for them. Furthermore, it appears my screen is not moving like it should. Let me try something here. Sorry. I'm going to try something and see if it works. Apologies. I clicked the wrong thing as usual. 3, 2, 1, and it did work. So I was highlighting non-commercial. So if you tune into WABE here in Atlanta, you are on a non-commercial station. Most of you are going to choose a commercial station. Do note that there are differences between the name advertisements and then the name sponsorships. Sponsorships are for non-commercial, and advertising is for commercial. They sound and look very similar, but there's some rules about what can be placed into the sponsorship material versus what can be in an advertisement. Moving forward, you're going to talk about the station owner. Recently, and I posted yesterday, that Entercom has purchased Star 94 and the other entities. They had 790 The Zone. And 790 The Zone now is, if I recall correctly, it is rebroadcasting an FM signal. I haven't listened to it, but the sports station that 790 The Zone is no longer. Oftentimes this does happen when a corporation comes in. So you want to find out who the station owner is. Typically in radio these days, it's the bigger owners, whether it's iHeartMedia, whether it is Cumulus. But there's still a few local stations that are out there. Used to be called mom and pops. One of the local radio station owners here in Carrollton is Steve Craddock, and he has about 5 stations to his credit, and a couple country, both AM and FM, and so that's so local radio ownership, that is not obsolete. There are still a few out there. Moving forward, you're going to look at the station format. Is it rock? Is it gospel? Is it jazz? And whether you have a website. Note the broadcast hours. Most of these stations that you choose, although some of you may pick some of the AM stations, have 24/7 broadcast. Just be sure to include that. Moreover, you may have, sorry, clicking something again. You may have some who cut off the air at midnight and only broadcast, don't have programming overnight. Another piece of the puzzle that you definitely want to pay attention to is the Nielsen ratings. I've attached those. They should be in your course den. I'm looking now, that's why I'm hesitating. Apologies. Trying to click and read at the same time is never easy. And yes, I put up the Nielsen ratings for May through July 2015. So it might behoove you to look at those particular ratings, before you choose your station, so that you can actually find a station that has ratings. So there's some tips on that. Keep moving forward. Here are probably the bigger pieces of the puzzle. I'm going to highlight these in a different color for now. Let's see if we can do these in something that we can see. Try that, yeah. Your station personalities may be a fairly significant part of your discussion. I'm talking about who some of the popular ones are. If you choose Q100, Bert and the Bert Show, Bert, Jeff Dollar, Kristen Klingshirn, those are the three staples in the morning show on Q100. But you also have Adam Baum, who several of you may have interned with, or perhaps you want to intern with. So writing about those personalities, some of their I call them gimmicks or their bits that they may be known for. I think Ricky Smiley has his own special segments that he does, as does Ryan Cameron. So you're going to be talking a little bit about that. You're also going to talk about the description of the programming that happens throughout all day parts. Morning drive being the most important, midday, afternoon drive the second most important, evenings and overnights. So those are the day parts that you want to try to include. You may also include weekends, because sometimes there are folks who work on the weekends that are a staple of that station. English Nick is an example. I believe he's on 97.1 The River. And he's been around Atlanta radio a long time, and he's pretty great. But his station shifts have been varied from overnights to afternoons to evenings, and a lot of weekends. He does a lot of weekend stuff. I do want to point out, and I'll actually make this one a little different color, or a different color, not a little. We'll go pink, fuchsia. It says provide a sample hot clock. It can be written, or it can be in a graph, and that graph can be a pie chart. Usually it's a pie chart. With the hot clock, you want to talk about what you might hear in an hour's worth of programming. This could include news, this could include music, this could include advertisements, also known as spots. So that's something that you want to be aware of and include. I'm going to click back over to see if I can make sure that I offered that. Yeah, I have posted in Course Den under the radio station analysis folder in Module 1 for radio, the hot clock information that you can read about and see an example of. So that's what you also want to be sure to include. If it'll download quick enough, I'll try and share it on the screen, just so that you understand what I'm referencing. And it looks like it's going to come up for us. I just have to make a change in what I'm sharing. I'm APOC back. I'm back. Greetings. And so let me click again to find the screen that I want. I hope this is the one I'm going to share, present to everyone. And you can see the descriptions about the hot clock and the day parts. So that's what I referenced a few moments ago. Going to attempt to get to it, scroll up, and more discussion. And there's some examples, screenshots of hot clocks. And you see them there. There's a pie chart, and of course there's a pie chart here. So let those be your guide as you develop those. And again, you don't have to actually do the pie charts and draw those out. You can do them in linear fashion, meaning you would just say top of the hour. So it's 00, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. And you would then list and say, you know, station ID, and then at 30 seconds in, it's a spot for Jim Ellis Auto, and then followed by a 2 minutes worth of promotional material that promotes what shows are upcoming. And then you may have 10 minutes of music, and then you may have 15 minutes of talk, etc. So keep that in mind as you're working through your station analysis. Trying to get back to the page, clicking again, hopefully sharing, presenting to everyone, and it should pop up again. All right, just a couple more pieces on this, and it looks like I'm flying solo, so that's fine. Your critique itself, and I'm highlighting this. Let's put it in a different color as well. We'll go blue. It's pretty dark. Let's try again. I'll gray it out. Oh, it didn't work. It didn't like me. One more go. Let's go green. Okay, I know why, because I had it highlighted. There it is. All right, just having trouble highlighting. I don't know how to highlight anymore. There it is. All right, so with that, as I get back to the screen, critique should be 500, 700 words. It's 2-3 pages, and it's a narrative form. It's going to describe what's going on. You put in those key elements. You can do those first few in the first graph, really, or you can weave it in however you want. But I do want you to go ahead and begin to think about how to create a reference list, in-text citations. Examples are in the sample paper I posted. You can use Purdue OWL Writing Center or the Wisconsin-Madison Writing Center or our own writing center, but these online writing centers help give you the format for references and citations. It is references, that's the name, not bibliography and not works cited. So please do not put that on there. You also see down there the other pieces of the puzzle in terms of guidelines that we're working on. This is due next Tuesday by just before midnight, and hopefully there won't be any issues. So with that, I will stop sharing the screen, come back, and it looks as though I'm still flying solo. That's all good. Hoping this is working. And we are ready for the first assignment to be dropped in next Tuesday. Moreover, if you do see this in the next few days, note that I probably will make a change on the discussion groups, and I'll put that out in text so that this particular video won't have to be specific to that. All right, those are the pieces of the puzzle. What I wanted to share. I'll stay on and actually highlight some other things that are going on in the course. Let me get to the right page. I have to share, I have to click the right button. And then let me try something. Got to click over here. And I talk through this just so that you are familiar with what's going on. That should have changed back, and it does. I'm double checking, it did. So just to be sure we're on point, we have our discussion posts that are coming up and due. I've posted the other YouTube videos with PowerPoint talking about some of the material to get you ready for the first test. Don't forget that the first test is due 15th of September. 15th of September. I don't know if this will let me highlight. I don't think it will. But, well, you can see I graded out. That is coming up. So you'll get to take the test over those chapters, and be sure to have your study guide completed at your disposal along with your textbook and any other references that you need to be able to answer those questions as best you can, and hopefully they will. You'll do great. Besides that, again, we're going on a quick half semester. The test number 2 is September 29th with test 3 October 13th. So those are straightforward. Their dates are set firm, so you want to get those done. Dropbox is available to place in your radio station analysis with the due date September 8th as noted. Your next journal article abstract will be September 22nd, and your big report on the 6th of October. I'll come back and I'll do similar instructions like this for the abstract and for the research report. The other piece is your discussion, so I'll go ahead and actually highlight this too. Please note that these discussion groups are simply for you to be able to have a more focused discussion with 6 or 7 people versus having to talk to 32 people, or really 31, you're the 32nd. The video or audio response or initial post is so that you don't have to write everything out. I know at times it's easier to explain stuff and say things. I'm not trying to make it a burden, but hopefully it is something that is you'll get used to and do well. So I appreciate your indulgence on that, and if you do have questions, just let me know and I'm happy to answer them. All right, seeing as how I am without viewers, I hope that everyone is able to get a hold of this on YouTube. If you do have questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll call this this broadcast to a close, and I will actually get on and share some emails and some postings for you. So best wishes for your radio station analysis and the rest of your material. We will be back in touch. Until then.